In the spring of 1884, when the winds blew harsh across the Wyoming Territory, Dry Hollow was a town that had long forgotten mercy. Its streets carried dust, its people carried grudges, and its laws favored whoever shouted loudest. In that place, a proud rancher made a choice that would break his daughter's heart, and nearly cost her life. Selina Drayton was 22, sharp-minded, iron-spined, and the only softness her father had left in the world. But softness didn't pay debts, and pride didn't keep land. So he gave her hand to Cal Henson, the foreman with more slyness than sense, in exchange for settling a $300 note that threatened to swallow the ranch whole. She refused. She refused loudly, clearly, and without apology. Dry Hollow did not forgive her for that. They called her disobedient. They called her ungrateful. The marshal, eager to keep the peace, or what passed for peace, declared her refusal a breach of promise, a stain upon a man's honor. By noon, the town had gathered in the square to watch her punished for daring to say no. The wind came first, swirling dust around the wooden post where she stood with her hands bound behind her. It moaned between shuttered shops, whispering warnings no one heeded. Selina's bonnet lay in the dirt where someone had tossed it, her braid, loosened by the struggle, clung to her cheek in the rising heat. The marshal read the charges as if they were scripture. Behind him stood Cal Henson, arms folded, a lazy grin stretched across his thin face. He didn't want her heart, only the victory of having won something her father owed. When the first lash cracked through the air, Selina closed her eyes. She had prepared herself for pain, but not for the sting of betrayal from faces she'd known her whole life. She expected someone, anyone, to speak up. No one did. But someone stepped forward. A tall stranger at the edge of the crowd, coat dusted from the trail, hat brim shadowing half his face. Thaddeus Colter had ridden into Dry Hollow for supplies and silence. He wanted no trouble and less company. But when the second lash fell, something inside him, something long buried, rose like a breaking wave. He spoke in a voice so steady it sliced through the heat. "That's enough." The marshal faltered mid-swing. Cal Henson turned sharply. "Who are you two?" Thaddeus didn't answer with words. His revolver flashed into view, held with the certainty of a man who knew exactly what he was willing to risk. For a moment, the whole town forgot how to breathe. The marshal hesitated. Henson tightened his grip on the whip handle, unsure which way courage lay. Selina felt the air shift, the kind of charged stillness that comes before a storm. Thaddeus stepped closer. "Cut her loose." The deputy obeyed, fumbling with the knots. The ropes fell away and Selina's arms dropped to her sides, stiff and trembling. She didn't thank the stranger. Pride still lived in her, even as pain burned across her back. "I won't be carried off like cattle," she rasped. "Then walk," Thaddeus said. "But ride fast. You stay here, and you're dead before sundown." The marshal found enough boldness to shout, "You're interfering with justice." Thaddeus lifted his gun, pointed it to the sky, and fired. The shot cracked off the bluffs, echoing back like rolling thunder. When the smoke drifted off his barrel, the crowd scattered like frightened quail. Cal Henson's face went pale beneath the dust. Selina seized a deputy's horse and swung into the saddle. Thaddeus mounted his own without looking back. Together they rode out of Dry Hollow, leaving anger, shame, and uproar behind them. Half a mile beyond town, Selina finally spoke. "You've ruined yourself for a stranger." Thaddeus kept his gaze ahead. "I did that long before today." She studied him from beneath her pain-clouded brow. His face was unreadable, but his presence steadied something inside her. They rode in silence until the foothills rose around them like sheltering shoulders. At a creek near dusk, he helped her down. "Water's clean. Fire'll keep off coyotes." She washed her wounds in the cold stream, watching the blood swirl away in thin red threads. The reflection staring back at her was strained, bruised, but unbroken. Thaddeus built a fire and handed her coffee. They sat without speaking. The night settled around them like a blanket, heavy and hushed. Stars pressed low over the willows. After a long while, he asked, "Anybody comin' after you?" "No," she whispered. "My family chose shame over me." He nodded as if he'd known. Shame weighs a lot on an empty stomach. He passed her jerky. Silence softened between them. She slept in fits and starts, the fire warm at her back, his quiet humming drifting over the crackle of embers. For the first time since morning, fear did not chase her into sleep. But back in Dry Hollow, Cal Henson drank to his bruised pride and promised the marshal he'd bring Selina back before week's end. By noon the next day, 4 riders set out, rifles across their saddles, vengeance riding with them. Thaddeus sensed them long before they arrived. "They'll come," he said. "Let them," Selina replied. "I've already been hunted once." He watched her for a long moment, how she held herself upright despite the pain, how stubbornness turned her spine to steel. "This time," he said, "I'll be ready." That night, lantern light flickered on the ridge as the riders approached. Thaddeus led Selina into a narrow ravine where moonlight washed the stone silver. "If they see us, stay low till I draw them off. I'm not helpless. I know. That's why I'm tellin' you, not pleading." A rider drifted too close. Thaddeus fired at the canyon wall, the shot ricocheted with explosive force. Horses reared. Men shouted. Chaos scattered them. "You could have killed them," Selina whispered when silence fell. "Could've," he said. "Doesn't mean I should." Rain came hard the next day, trapping them beneath the lean-to. Lightning split the sky. To quiet her fear, Selina spoke of her childhood, bareback riding, her father's lessons, and the betrayal that followed. "You learned courage better than he did," Thaddeus replied softly. When the storm broke, the world smelled of rain and forgiveness. For a moment, Selina let herself breathe. But peace was brief. Smoke on the horizon signaled the riders' return. Cal Henson led them through the willows, his injured arm bound tight, his fury unbound. "She's a runaway deader," he shouted. "Bring her back alive, the drifter, dead." Gunfire cracked through the pines. Thaddeus returned fire with precision, aiming only to scatter, never to kill. When night fell, quiet returned only long enough to lull the camp. Then a whistle sliced through the dark. Hooves thundered. Riders burst into the ravine. Henson himself stormed forward, gun drawn. "This is on you," he shouted. "You humiliated me." He fired. Thaddeus lunged. The men crashed into the mud, rolling through embers and smoke. Henson scrambled for his weapon. Thaddeus raised his rifle and fired a single, decisive shot. When the echoes faded, Henson lay still. Selina dropped beside Thaddeus, panic clawing up her throat. Blood pooled beneath her fingers as she pressed against his wound. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Please." He murmured, "You're safe, with me," before slipping under. The storm of the night settled into a battle of endurance. She tore strips from her skirt, binding his wound, counting his breaths, refusing to surrender him to the dark. By dawn, he burned with fever. By noon, he stabilized. When he woke, he croaked, "You should have run." "I did once," she said. "Didn't help." He managed a smile. "Stubborn. Learned from you." Spring crept gently over the foothills in the days that followed. Thaddeus healed slowly, Selina healed in ways deeper than skin. They spoke in easy silences, learned each other's stories, and discovered how peace felt when shared instead of chased. And somewhere between the creek's whisper and the soft rise of dawn, 2 souls who had been thrown away by the world found something the world could not take back. Each other.